Webcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to our webinar today. Maximize your IBM backup performance, gain speed, flexibility, and reliability with virtual tape. My name is Axe Signer, Vice President of Electronic Storage Corporation. We are located in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Here in our Tulsa office, we have our own programming staff, our own technical support department. So we are basically a software developer, have been in business for over 30 years. And we are a Microsoft certified partner as well as an IBM registered business partner. So we'll begin talking about using virtual tape technology for your IBM backups as a backup strategy to improve your performance of the backups, dependability of the backups, the ability to do things like with virtual tape, you can do full system saves. We'll talk about that, and demode IPL, all of the capabilities that you currently have with your either physical tape technology that you're currently using or a virtual solution that you might have. But with the virtual tape backup system, we're really going to look to increase the backup speed compared to physical tape, as well as the dependability of doing things like replication to the cloud, multiple copies. So therefore, having the dependability of always having a copy of your backup to do a particular restore. So there's several advantages of using virtual tape. Number one, increase your backup speed. Centralize management, basically meaning that you're going to be able to manage your backups from anywhere remotely on your at your current data center location, and then you'll be able to manage all of that centralized, whereas you're not having to deal with physical tape, moving and transporting a physical tape. User-friendly functionality. You get a lot of comments on our particular solution on how it's really simple to set up, it's simple to use a product, therefore making it very easy to go in and perform saves and restores. Automated archiving gives you the capability of moving tapes off-site, virtual tapes to cloud storage, replicated DR site, things like that. Very easily scalable. And we'll talk a little bit about some hardware that is typically or can be used with the VTL solution. Unlimited virtual tape library. So imagine being able to increase the number of backups that you have available to perform restores, whereas physical tape, you do have that limitation in terms of how many physical tapes are available on site to recover. With a virtual tape library solution, you can increase the number of tapes that are available, virtual tapes, anytime that you want, up to 16,000 virtual tape slots in a VTL solution. So this is going to give you much faster and easier data recovery and reliability. We're going to talk a little bit about backing up to a data deduplication backup appliance and also to the cloud. And replacing, really what we're talking about is if you're currently using physical tape device or a physical tape library, replacing that completely with a virtual tape solution for IBM. So here we have the need for speed, basically showing you a chart in comparison of LTO9 up to 400 megasecond, whereas speeds 850 megasecond to virtual tape solution. So it gives you much faster backups and restores. So you're basically going to at least double your backup speed. I have seen in cases where backup speeds have been as high as 2 gig a second. So it really just depends on how your disk storage is set up, whether you're using spin disk or SSD. But we can help you with configuring a solution that gives you the most speed if that's what you're requiring. Data deduplication. So data deduplication actually is available for our VTL solution, as well as there's many other data deduplication backup appliances on the market that we actually integrate with, such as Rubrik and Cohesity and Exagrid. But our solution does have data deduplication for your IBM backups. So when we talk about data deduplication, we're talking about at the block level, saving only blocks that have new and changed data compared to previous saves or previous saved blocks. So this greatly reduces your storage needs, saves on your storage costs, reduces your network traffic, and that's pretty key as well, because the ability that you would have less data to replicate each day to either your DR replication site, to co-location, managed service provider, cloud storage, any one of those things, because we're decreasing the amount of data that has to be saved because we're not saving redundant copies. Therefore, your data deduplication and compression could be 10 to 1 or even higher, depending on the change rate of the data that you currently have on your IBM I system. So we talk about, I mentioned Rubrik and Cohesity, Exagrid, as well as there's many others. But our VTL solution that can actually be a gateway to those backup providers, the backup solutions. So if you're either looking at solutions like that or currently have any backup appliance or even SAN or NAS storage, you can leverage those systems and that storage for your IBM I with our VTL system as a gateway to that storage. Really what that means is that from the VTL server, you have, of course, fiber channel or SAS connectivity to the IBM I as to emulate physical tape or physical tape library. So that provides you with your backup through Go Backup, Go Save commands, BRMS, Robot Save, whatever it is that you're currently using for your backup program on your IBM I side. And then from the VTL server, it's going to be a high-speed network or fiber channel connection from the VTL server to the storage. Again, SAN, NAS, or data deduplication backup appliance. And then, of course, we're showing on this graph replication. So really those products, those backup solutions provide replication capabilities. Therefore, you are able to have 2 copies of your backups, one for disaster recovery, one for production backups, and one for disaster recovery restores. So this really allows you, if you want to leverage existing disk space without having to invest in more storage, you're not having to invest in a specific backup solution for the IBM I side. Backup appliance with storage, you can utilize existing storage. I did want to mention this is our latest technology partnership, protecting IBM I with IBM Defender Data Protect. So we have been started working with IBM on their Data Protect solution as being a gateway storage. So therefore, what you're using is you're using the Data Protect cluster for the storage, deduplication, data protection, replication. So when we mention gateway to storage, this is one of our newest technology partners, along with Cohesity and Rubrik and Exagrid. And we now are working with IBM and the Data Defender Protect cluster. So therefore, if you're looking for this particular backup solution from IBM, LaserVault becomes the VTL to interface with BRMS, Robot Save, any of those backup tools that are on the IBM I side to present that storage to your IBM I, and we can write directly to it through the LaserVault Vital gateway. So improve, restore, and recovery. So faster data recovery, because your virtual tapes stored on disk in your virtual tape library inventory, have as many as you want in terms of being able to access those backups, have a virtual tape loaded into the virtual tape drive, which can be an automated process, like if you're using BRMS to do a particular restore, because all your tapes can be available to do a restore. All your backups are easily auditable. because they're available directly right there to be seen in a web interface and in the inventory list of the virtual tapes in the virtual tape library. So your data recovery is much faster, restores are faster, more reliable. You're ruling out human error because tapes can get lost, tapes can get mislabeled, tapes can be damaged. So this would rule out any mitigation, or this would mitigate the risk of data loss, which can happen with the physical tape. Multiple copies. So replication is super important for so many of our clients because they can keep multiple copies of their backups. So they can keep one or two copies off-site, like such as cloud storage, DR site. I mentioned some others, as well as an on-prem backup copy. So you're able to improve your disaster recovery because you have two copies of your backups. Physical tape, you would not have two copies. So now you can replicate to physical tape as well with dupe media BRM, dupe tape. So if you have your IBM tape device connected to your power system and a VTL solution, you can copy from VTL to physical tape. So that could be your second replicated copy if you want. And we do have a few clients that do take their backups that are really long-term storage and do copy them to tape if they don't necessarily need to keep them on disk as well. But you can also do the reverse, right? Going from physical tape to virtual tape. So if you wanted to make copies of your physical tapes, get them on disk as quickly as possible so they go into your backup rotation. So they get into your backup rotation, and then but you can also keep them on the physical tape. So you can copy from physical to virtual and back. Now our VTL solution does have replication, and we're going to talk about that during the demo. Okay, so let's take a look at LaserVault Vital, our particular VTL solution. So this is our LaserVault Vital web interface. You can use any browser of your choice to access this interface, which allows you to configure the solution, as well as see your tape inventory, create new tapes, things like that. So there's a secure login, username, and password. I'm going to log in as admin. I'm going to go right here to libraries. I have two virtual tape libraries defined in Vital. So let's take a look at some of the settings for a particular virtual tape library. These settings are for configuring where you're going to store your backups, where they're going to be written, the type of emulation that you want to use. In this case, I'm set to Ultrium 8. The number of storage slots that you need for your virtual tapes. I have mine set to 48 storage slots, and you can go in and increase the number of storage slots anytime that you need. So, and that can go up to 16,000, I think it's 356 virtual tape slots that you can create tapes and have tapes in inventory. So it's virtually unlimited. Now, one thing to know, this path. So currently, we have clients that have a server, two servers, one or two servers. And if they had ordered that server or we had configured that server for them to have storage on that disk storage, either SSD or spin disk, typically SSD. Therefore, we're writing and storing the backups directly to that server. If instead this was going to write to a SAN or NAS or backup appliance, you would have a path to that storage. So an SMB or NFS or iSCSI path to that storage where the virtual tapes are written. Therefore, the LaserVault VTL becomes a gateway to that storage. So we call that basically a gateway solution. But you could have a server. We provide servers and have servers custom built for our clients. or we also have clients that provide their own server platform and storage for our LaserVault VTL solution. We have what's called a data block file count. One of the ways that you can make the backups faster is use this setting called the data block file count. And what it's doing is, right now it's currently set to 8, which means that when a backup is being performed to a virtual tape that's in the virtual drive, we're actually writing the data to multiple files. So we're going to utilize the multi-cores and processors in the server, memory, and write speed. So we're going to increase the write speed using the data block file count, therefore increasing your backup speed. Then we have some cache settings for backups and restores. So we have write cache settings, read cache settings. Those are set to 8. Kind of the sweet spot is typically between 8 and 16 meg. So again, just additional features that help you increase your backup speed. Now, comes standard with our VTL license is compression, which averages 4:1. Deduplication is our bdupe add-on license. So if you're interested in compressing your backups 10:1, or it's imperative that you do because of the amount of data that you're saving, and also for replication time and being able to reduce your replication time and the amount of data that you are replicating. Also included is AES 256 encryption. By checking that box and you're using your encryption key, the data is written to disk during the backup as encrypted. Replication and retention. So replication means that what you're able to do is you're automatically copying your virtual tape that you just saved to another disk location, server location, DR site, cloud storage. I have Amazon S3 and Microsoft Azure as an example. And you can actually perform, different replication jobs for different tapes based on their volume prefix. You can set retention based on volume prefix. So if you want to keep certain tapes for a certain amount of days, weeks, or years, you can set that up for retention to where it automatically either initializes or deletes virtual tapes that reach their expiration. Now, in terms of using something like BRMS, those are automatically initialized once you run BRMS maintenance. So virtual tapes that have reached their retention and immediate policy in BRMS, you run BRMS maintenance, those expired tapes are initialized, zeroed out, the data is zeroed out, and therefore that tape would be used again at some point in the rotation. So replication. So you can have multiple replication paths. So if you want to replicate a virtual tape to a DR site as well as cloud, you can do that. So let's look at some of the parameters here. The serial prefix, this is set to asterisk, meaning that this applies to all tape volumes. This is a nice feature where you can see an email notification based on a replication job that has started. Maybe if there was an error message, then you would get an email notification, and then once it's complete. And then for replicating volumes, I have it set to replicate the most recent 5 volumes. Maybe if I'm doing replication, once every 5 days, but you can change that number, or you can go all volumes, meaning that it's going to replicate the most recent volume that was saved to. My replication site is either network path, meaning you can replicate it. You're replicating to a DR site to another server, or network storage at a different location. Azure, we have settings for Amazon S3 and also Wasabi. So we have predefined settings or cloud storage property parameters here for your cloud storage accounts, Wasabi, Amazon S3, as well as Azure. And then down below, you can set your retention local, as well as setting retention for your remote copies, for your replicated copies. So this just means that you may want to store certain volumes longer in cloud storage as a replicated copy as opposed to local storage to save a little bit on disk space because those backups aren't restored from very much at all. So, but if you do need them, it's easy to bring down a virtual tape from cloud storage back into inventory so you can perform your restore. Okay, so there we have that. Now our solution does support NPIV via fiber channel. We support NPIV with fiber channel speeds 8, 16, 32 gig, 64 gig. And that just simply means that you can have per physical fiber channel port on a LaserVault server or a VM, you have the ability to create up to 64 tape devices per fiber channel port. Therefore, via switch, you would zone those worldwide port names for those devices to your IBM to your partitions. So if you're needing to do parallel saves with multiple drives, and you want to, and even if you just have one physical fiber channel port, say 16 gig in a LaserVault solution, a vital solution, you have, enough WPNs to set up those devices to run parallel saves with multiple tape devices. Now you can also define group secured access to this interface. So as administrator, let's edit this and just show you some of the show you the features that are available based on the fact that they're checked for the administrator group. So any user that's been added to access this interface via username and password would be assigned to a group, and then that group would have certain settings that they are allowed or not allowed to use. Okay, so let's take a look at library 1. As you can see, we have just one single tape device. Again, we're emulating Ultrium 8 here. We emulate 2, 3, 5, and 8 with our solution. And to mention that as well, it's important to know that the virtual tapes don't have a storage limit like physical LTO does. So if your backup is 10 terabytes, you can save all of that and it would only take one tape because there's no storage limitation. Okay, so as you see that we have virtual tapes here in the virtual tape library. You can go here to this create button and put in a volume prefix, like say D for daily, for example. You can put a capacity on a tape. We have customers that save journals throughout the day. So therefore they want to roll to another tape once they've reached that capacity of that tape with those journal saves because they're appending to that tape every day. You can create multiple tape images, initialize those. That's the same as doing an INZ tape. Say if you're using BRMS, once you create these tapes, then you go into BRMS and add them into BRMS, assign them a media class and then set up have a media policy for those. Usually what everyone does is just copy everything that they're doing currently with their physical tape and set those new tapes up with the media classes and the media policies and control groups that you have for your current physical backups and use those for virtual. So you can create multiple tape images. It tells you the next empty slot that's available and then how many slots that you have to create tapes. Click initialize and you've got new tapes ready to go. Some of the other features, you can manually move a tape into a drive. So therefore I have this one loaded in the drive. So if you needed to move a tape into the drive for a D mode IPL and it was a full system save, then you can simply go here and just go ahead and move that in the drive and go through your D mode IPL process of using the LaserVault virtual tape device to perform that licensed internal code and also OS, as well as everything else. Since I'm admin, I can delete a tape. I can export a tape, which moves it to the export path. So it moves it out of inventory to the export path, which is defined here and on the previous screen where we talked about the library properties. And that's simply, and this is actually pointing to cloud storage. So I can take a tape, export it, means moving it from here to there and storing it there. And then if you go import, it'll show you all the tapes that you've exported, and you can bring any of those tapes back using the import function. Protect a tape means it's read only. Once you protect a tape, it is read only. It cannot be deleted, even from this interface. It cannot be initialized, cannot be overwritten. It is a read only tape. And you can automatically set that to a volume once your save is complete, because we have a protect command and an unprotect command available on the IBM side. Labels is a cool feature because you can go, let me see which one I have. So if you need to see what's on the tape, say it's a full system, you want to check what's on the tape. You've got your sequence for each of your libraries that were saved and the size of the libraries, and if they have an expiration date for this tape. Same thing as basically doing a display tape where you can go through the libraries. Okay, so that is the Vital web interface. Over on the IBM side, I'll just show you what we look like. TAP MLB V1 and TAP V1 is the tape device. So this is one WWPN. This is one worldwide port name on a physical fiber channel port connection, or it could be a SAS connection. We have clients that use SAS instead of fiber channel. So once everything's set up on the VTL side, you have auto config turned on, plugged in the fiber channel. With auto config turned on, you'll have a new tape library, a new tape device. Instead of a tape library, you can instead emulate a tape device. If you're not using a physical tape library or BRMS or robot save, TAP V2 is LaserVault as just a tape device. So super simple, super fast compared to physical tape. Okay, so just to recap, maximizing your IBM backup and recovery performance. So the ability to accelerate your backups, faster backups, multi-thread capability, compression, and all of the things that come with the ability of replacing or adding to your physical tape backup. And typically this is a replacement of physical tape. Centralized management, very user-friendly, rapid and reliable recovery, automated archive. So many of the features, you have many features and benefits and capabilities with a VTL solution that you just don't have with physical tape. Okay, so we'd love to talk with you more about your IBM environment in terms of the amount of data that you're currently saving, what kind of saves that you're doing now, what are your retentions of those backups, your dailies, weeklies, monthlies, really to give you an idea of the environment for storage, server or VM environment. VM, there is a requirement in with a VTL solution that you have a fiber channel connectivity. So it does require a fiber channel HBA in the host server of the VM. So you'd need a PCIe slot, put that fiber channel, install that fiber channel card, connect up the cable, and you're ready to go with LaserVault Vital and stored on running on a VM. Typically, it's a physical server, but we do have clients that run in a VM environment. So we'd love to also go into more detail on the features and capabilities, how it could be configured with fiber channel or SAS, how many fiber channel ports are needed, what are you going to use existing storage, or are you looking at other backup solutions that you want to use a VTL for the IBM side as a gateway to those backup solutions and store your backups there. Plus, if you do check it out, a demo with us, you get a $50 Amazon gift card, which is pretty cool. So just send us an email at info@laservault.com, mention AGC50, and we'll get you going with a demo and talk more about your IBM backup environment and your requirements. Yeah, we can definitely. I have a question here about getting the charts. Yeah, we can definitely do that for you. We've got an executive overview that's got the charts in it. So these are our handouts in the GoToMeeting panel that you can go ahead and download. And also we are recording this webinar and we'll be posting it on our YouTube channel and emailing you the link to this particular presentation so you can share it with others and go back and review. Okay, well, thank you everyone for your time today. Remember, we are doing a drawing for a pair of Sony Bluetooth earbuds, which we'll have after the session concludes, and then we'll notify the winner via email. So good luck to that. Feel free to contact us, info@laservault.com. There's our 800 number. And then if there's no other questions in the GoToMeeting panel, we can go ahead and complete this. So yeah, we'll definitely get you that the document that's got the charts in it. So okay, great. Well, thanks everyone for your time today and enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you. Bye-bye.